3 easy steps to get your ex back. Step 1. Love thyself. Okay, first off, we're going to do something a little counterintuitive. If you've only recently broken up with your partner, one of the first things you're going to instinctively want to do is contact them. Don't. Something has caused your ex to make the decision to end the relationship, and it may or may not be you. For the moment, let's not exacerbate the situation by plaguing the ex with "take me back, please." Instead, let's focus on something we can actually do something positive about. Our own headspace. It's natural to freak out when an unexpected or unwanted breakup occurs. Moreover, if we weren't freaking out, we'd lack the motivation to turn things around. But if we're going to make any real approaches towards winning back the ex, it needs to be done with some forethought, and we need to be in control of our own emotions. In other words, we need to be okay with ourselves before we can realistically expect the ex to take us back. When a relationship ends unexpectedly, there's a tendency to automatically assume we did something wrong and begin to question ourselves, and at times, our own self-worth. If you find yourself in a situation where on the whole, you can't pinpoint just yet what went wrong, take a deep breath, understand that sometimes people do things that don't make sense, and get ready to find a way around this problem. If we know or think we might have been the cause of the breakup, and sometimes we will be, there's little constructive merit in beating ourselves up about it. What we do need to do, however, is take responsibility for our actions. Suck it up, acknowledge the hurt our misdeeds created, and look towards making positive steps to amends. Self-pity and blame avoidance are indulgences we can't afford if we're going to get back the ex. Step 2. Assessing the damage. Once we've taken some positive steps to take care of our own emotional state, we can then start to take an objective look at what went wrong in the relationship. This serves 2 purposes. The first is to ensure that if we do manage to get the ex back, the relationship will be better off second time around. The second is to ensure that the problem is actually something we can fix. At times this step requires us to be brutally honest with ourselves, without being critical to the point of self-abuse. Can we honestly admit that we made some mistakes in the relationship? Perhaps we weren't attentive enough, or took our partner for granted. We might have been moody for our own reasons. Did we spend too much time with our friends, or fail to get along with our partners? Were we overcritical, not communicate enough, be scared of commitment? Did we get angry when we felt our partner didn't understand our point of view? Or at the more extreme end, did we cheat on our partner, or do something they see as unforgivable? If anything like the above applies to us, we need to acknowledge it, and we need to do it without also trying to justify it to ourselves. You know what I mean. I was inattentive, but was tired from working all the time. I didn't get along with her friends, we are just too different. I didn't communicate enough, I just can't understand how they want me to be. Now is the chance to make an important decision. Is our relationship with our ex important enough to us to work on making the changes we need to in order to get them back and keep them? If not, we have to ask ourselves whether we really ought to be putting our ex, and ourselves, through more heartache by trying to win them back into a relationship which might never work. On the flip side, if making those changes is likely to make us miserable, we need to give some careful consideration to the reasons why we are trying to get back with the ex. What if we think the problem might not lie with us, but with our ex? What if our ex is commitment shy, or struggled to communicate, or just doesn't see the potential we have for an amazing relationship? Either way, we need to look at grabbing their attention if we're going to re-engage with them meaningfully. This can often be the trickiest part of getting back an ex. Step 3. Making contact. The first real contact after breaking up can be a hugely important one in the context of trying to make up with an ex. That being said, it's often difficult to initiate such contact, particularly if there are lingering feelings of anger or hurt. So, how do we initiate contact? Whatever you do, don't try the desperation call or text message. You know the ones where you say something like, "Please ring me back, it's important," or "We have to talk." It's an emergency. Actually, if you've split up, the ex doesn't have to do anything, which makes this sort of call fairly prone to having the opposite effect of that which it is intended to. So what can we do? Instead of pleading with our ex, let's try intriguing them. 2 of the things we as humans struggle to resist are curiosity and self-interest. Try this approach instead. Call your ex and tell them that something happened today which reminded you of how great they are and how much you appreciate them. Ask them to call you because you wanted to thank them in person. This little technique achieves two things. Firstly, it triggers curiosity in that they will be wondering what the thing was, and secondly, it sparks their self-interest because your message is obviously flattering. Think you can't do it? You should try, it works. This little method can be the difference between an ex who is avoiding you and an ex who actually wants to speak to you. It's just one of the ways you can take the pressure off and give your ex the chance to realize just how good you are together without feeling like they are being forced into a decision. Whether you use this technique or some other way of initiating contact, it is imperative to have a clear strategy on how you intend to use the contact to move things to the next stage. Doing so without a clear plan of action can in fact cause more damage than good. Knowing little tips and tricks like this can make all the difference. For one thing, it makes certain you aren't doing all the things that can kill any chance you have of getting back your ex forever. Secondly, it proves a feeling of empowerment instead of helplessness, enabling you to take back control of your relationship. I want you to check out an ebook by a friend of mine. You can find the link below. It's one of the best books on how to get your ex back. In it, he teaches you precisely the types of strategy you need to have in place to make this technique, and many like it, work completely to your advantage. He's a good guy, and devotes huge amounts of his time to helping people make up, instead of break up. He knows people better than most people know themselves. As I said, if you're intent on making a bid to win your ex back, be sure to do it right the first time. Most importantly, have a plan. Whatever you decide, using these easy steps to get your ex back is a definite starting point. May all your wishes come true.